This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live. Welcome back to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake, your host. In today's episode, we are at Cloudland Vineyard and Winery in Buford, Georgia. Now, when most of us hear Buford, Georgia, we don't normally associate that with really good wine and beautiful vineyard scenery, but that's what you have. And it's funny because I was sharing the location of the property with my wife, and there's no telling how many times we've driven past it and didn't even know it was there, partly because of the topography, which we get into why they're exactly where they are in the topography and the geography of the area. We get into that in the episode, but also, unless you're a passenger and you're really kind of not interested in the person that's driving, you're going to miss it because of the way the road traverses that area. So, just insanely convenient to get to. Like, it is it's the most like off the wall location in terms of just you don't even know it's there, and then it's there, and you're like, how have I not seen this? Just because of what I just said. The other thing, and I was sharing this with a friend of mine that I love about these small business owners that we are giving some airtime to, is whether you are in this industry or not. If you go back, since we started, we kind of run through some of the same thought patterns and maybe not the same questions exactly, but the entrepreneurial and business lessons, and it is like if you took the bullet point nuggets from when we started to this, you could probably teach a master class to executives and just blow their hair back, because there are so many good life principles, business principles, entrepreneurial, basics, from a basic info and kind of rudimentary foundation stuff to just the nuances that life experience and business experience can only give you. And for me, in my phase of life and business and just kind of journey through the world, it is something I absolutely love about this. A lot of these people that we're interviewing are quite frankly brilliant in their own industry, and so if nothing else, getting some of that you can use and apply in your life, share with others that can help them in their business. The more lives and families and businesses we can improve in our North Georgia area, the better. So, and hey, if you just want if you want to give your taste buds some a dose of revolutionary joy, I'm just the trademark pending. Do not steal that. That is my coin phrase. Revolutionary joy. Their flagship wine that we talked about on the episode, kind of towards the end of the episode, y'all. Revolutionary joy in your taste buds. I don't even know. It's so good and yet so unlike any red wine I've ever had. I don't even know. Almost like a Petite Syrah, a Tempranillo, and a Malbec had like a wild night together or something like that. I don't even know. That's probably not even close. So don't judge my palate. It's not that good, but the wine is absolutely amazing. Like, it is beautiful scenery. If you're gonna go and you want to hang out, just email me. we will come hang out because there's something just very serene and relaxing about the property, and it's, like I said, it's so stinking convenient to get to. It's insane when you get there. When you put it in your map, you're gonna be like, no, I've been by this a lot, and it's not there. I need to recalculate. No, you just need to make a right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. You know how to find us on Facebook, Instagram, North Georgia Life Podcast, North Georgia Life Podcast at gmail.com. if you'd like to email us and tell us when you're going to go and hang out, if our schedule allows, we would love to come and hang out with you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake, your host again, and today we're at what I think is a growing area attraction in my neck of the woods. We're here in Beaufort, Georgia with Sean Wilburn, who's the owner of Cloudland Vineyards and Winery. And it has taken me, I don't know, probably 9 months to get around to scheduling this because I keep literally about every 6 weeks or so, I feel like another one of our friends is having a conversation about this place that they've been to and raving about it. And I was like, it is literally right down the road for me. Why have we not come here? So we're here today. So Sean, thanks for your time. I know this is a busy time for you guys in the wine world. So I appreciate your time. We'll try to be in and out as quick as possible.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into to this business, what brought you here. Did you grow up on a farm? Any of that?
Yeah. No, as a kid, I remember strumming on a plastic guitar at 5, 6 years old in my garden on hot summer Georgia nights. I've always been in the garden as far as I can remember, and being outside, building things, working with my hands, and entrepreneurial spirit too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of those things basically born with. Just never could quite figure out what to do with all that, as I'm
They don't really teach you a whole lot of what to do with the entrepreneurial gene in school.
Yeah, unfortunately. I was in real estate, actually, in Florida. I had gotten out of college, was flying airplanes, and 9/11 kind of happened, and so the aviation business was pretty much put on hold. And so right around that same time is when real estate really started to take off, and I just kind of fell into it. And in one of those kind of entertaining dinner type of environments, finally just said, man, I'm exposed, I'm vulnerable, I don't know what the heck I'm doing around all these people when they talk about wine. I need to learn a little bit, And so the next opportunity happened to be at a beach bar in Flagler Beach where I lived. Instead of going for my classic Corona Light, I said, well, let me try this glass of Chardonnay. And it was in that moment, I remember sitting at the bar, waves crashing behind me going, dang man, this is it. This is everything, all of the passions that I have in life wrapped up in one.
Wow. Start
a business in this, and I could live or I could die, I could totally just
but
be
you'd
happy.
Be happy.
Yeah. So that was kind of it, man. The bug hit me and it just never went away. Yeah. And here I am.
And you were how old then?
I was early 20s. I was probably 24, somewhere around there, 23, 24. And it started as a hobby, winemaking, buying kits. And then I'm like, man, I can't be buying kits. I gotta work with real grapes. Yeah. So I started buying fruit, buying grapes, and I'm like, man, I can't be buying someone else's grapes. I gotta grow my own grapes. And so it just grew into this crazy, horribly out of control hobby. And so
That's a great way to state it.
Yeah. And I just kept it a secret. I didn't tell anybody because I think human nature. I think we're all just built that way, is to either, whether the intention is to looking out for your friends or person's best interests or what, but it's a good way to squash any dreams or ambitions by telling someone what your goals are when they're really big,
Yeah.
So I just kept it a secret, didn't tell anybody, and I didn't have any money. All I had was time, and so I just took a long time,
Wow.
So
and you started with what in terms of vines, plants?
Yeah, so the idea was I got to find a cool place, but I'm in a little bit of a conundrum because I'm broke and I don't even have a house. So I got to figure out first how to get a house, but I got to have some land to be able to grow some grapes and do this thing, So in 08, 09, moved up here with the quiet intention of, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm moving back home. You know, I was born and raised here. 08, 09, moved back up here, started scouting, searching, and really I was following what everybody else was doing, which was going up to the Dahlonega, and I was looking for property up there. Actually went under contract on a piece of property up there, and unfortunately it kind of fell through, but in that whole time period, I was researching grapes and growing some stuff. Just really landed on a really cool grape that was really intriguing, and it kind of set me free from having to be in the mountains or up in the North Georgia region, far up North Georgia region. I could be down here, you know, and then that opened up my mind saying, you know, why not be right smack dab here in the urban sprawl? At the time, it wasn't quite so urban, but still, you know, what a great location. And if this grape can do well here, well then, heck yeah, why not? And so I started looking back down around home, where I'm more familiar, down and around Beaufort area, and that's kind of how we ended up in this area. But started with trying to piece together that conundrum of finding a home and a piece of land, and in 2011. This property here where we're located now, it wasn't available, it wasn't for sale. I used to drive by this all the time as a kid, and I love the unique mountain views that you got from this site. It's the only place anywhere around here where you actually see the mountains, you know?
It's like here and the Falcons training facility.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like those two places, and that's it.
That's it, exactly, man. And the reason for that is that is the center line of the Eastern Continental Divide that runs right up the east side of 985. So that ridge that goes from Falcons all the way to where we're sitting right now is in fact, the tasting room bifurcates the center line of the ridge. So one side of our vineyard, the watershed ends up in the Gulf of Mexico, and you walk out the other side of the tasting room, and that vineyard ends up in the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
So this is kind of the dividing line of that. And so it's the Brevard Fault, which also runs all the way up through North Carolina. It provides this unique, just huge elevation jump from what is an average of about 900 feet in our area, 900 to 1,000 feet in our area, up to 1,300 feet where we are. So we sit like 300 feet above all the other land around us. And so the benefit just happens to be that it's an epic place to grow grapes. We got amazing air circulation. We're the first place where rain drops, and so you're the first place where rain moves away from. If you're down the ridge, well, then you're taking rain from vertically down, but then you're taking rain that's running down off the slope above you. Well, we're at the top of the ridge, and so we're just dealing with the rain that's coming from the sky, and we dry out really, really quickly for that reason, and that's really good for grape growing. And the views are amazing. Location, convenience-wise, is amazing for us humans. So it just turns out to be an amazing spot. So
when I first heard you guys were here, it was like, in Beaufort? Like what?
Yeah.
But the water element, that was one of the first things I said earlier today was, you know, this rain is not a friend of grape growers. But understanding the elevation part of that, it makes total sense. So we're unique in the location because you are literally a hop, skip, and a jump from the interstate, so super easy to get to, and you're unique. You're the only one here. So what was the grape that you started with? What grape was that?
It's called Lamonto. It is an amazing grape. It's really a game changer for us as southeastern growers. You know, I think one of the big things that I realized when I moved up here in 08, 09, of course, the economy was totally in the tank. And every job that I got, the company that I worked for would go out of business, you know. So I just kept finding myself bouncing around and every time I was pushing down this idea of going and doing this and following this dream, you know, when I finally kind of got into realizing, okay, I'm going to go do this, I went to work into the business, and the winemaker that I worked under basically just killed my dreams of growing Sangiovese and all the classic varieties that I love to drink. You know, I had in my mind I was going to grow the wines that I enjoy to drink.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of times the mistake we make as growers is we plant what we drink, and that doesn't work. You know, to your point, you know, we get excessive rainfall. We're in the top 10 highest states of rainfall in the country. That's not a good environment for wine grapes. You know, and so trying to find to put a Cabernet Sauvignon in the ground here, you set yourself up for a little bit of a big time uphill climb, because most people know what Cabernet Sauvignon tastes like from regions like California or France, and those are delicious Cabernets, you know. And when you taste our Cabernet Sauvignon, if done well, it can still make a decent wine, but it's not going to taste anything like Cabernet Sauvignon, like
the familiarity that people associate with what it should taste like. And you're calling it the same thing.
Yeah.
Where if it was just a different name of a grape, then all of a sudden you're
exactly like,
round.
oh, I like that, you know. But so you really do set yourself up for some failure there. A gentleman from 1800s who has an amazing history, a bit of a hero in viticulture of that time, cross-pollinated all of these native grape varieties with European grape varieties in an effort to, one, crack the code of what grows well here in this new world that we've been trying to figure out since the 1600s, you know, bringing grapevines over on the boat, putting them in the ground, and them not doing well. So that was another motivation of his work was to make the perfect harvest sequence for grape ripeness. But anyway, this Lamanto was one of hundreds of grapes that he created in cross-pollinating. And it's a cross between Malaga, which is a Spanish of the same Muscatel, Moscato family of parentage of grapes, and a grape that's actually native to the Texas, North Mexico region. And it makes this really cool wine. We've had people from Barolo, Italy, Provence, France, California, taste Lamanto and go, oh my God, this is amazing. We would drink this back home like crazy, you know? So to have people with good palates from regions of premium wine taste Lamanto and go, wow, that is cool. I knew we were on to something, and that's why we really went big and heavy on it and just planted. We're up to 5 acres now. Next year we've got another 4 acres going in and just like really going heavy on this, along with some other really promising grapes that we've discovered.
How many acres is the property here?
We're at about 11 and a quarter acres. Yeah, so
you've got about half of that, a little less than half planted.
Yeah. So next year we'll put another 2 acres in the ground here on this site, and then we've got some other sites up just a hair north of us. Scattered around the area, but another really promising site north of us that we're going to plan on next year. But you know, what's really cool is to see all the development going on, the real estate growth around here. A lot of, you know, warehouses and commercial and industrial things going on. It was a message that we wanted to send to property owners and to the community to say, you know, this is an area worth believing in. This is an area worth building community in.
Right.
And doing something really unique with your property, you know, that does build revenue, that does build value, can really be a benefit to a landowner. And so that's a message we're trying to continue to send to landowners out there. You know, we need more fruit in Georgia. We want to be a Georgia wine industry, but not bringing fruit in from other states. You know, we want to grow Georgia fruit. So this was kind of our attempt to put this massive farm right in the middle of an urban landscape and go, hey, you can do this too. You know, there's other ideas, there's other things that you can do with your property, even if it is smack dab in the middle of you know, the city. Why not put some agricultural activities on it? You know,
I love that. It's you're 1,000% right. We need We need more of that. Being in the real estate business, like I've been just familiar with development for a long time, but some of the development around our area just honestly just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like seeing a forest taken down and a just giant box being there.
Yeah.
Like I never thought that would really make me sad.
Yeah.
But it's a, like you said, it's a reflection of the demand and the growth in the area. So there's gonna be some of that, and that's where having elements like this, some of the things that some of the local chambers of commerce, some of the cities are doing to really try to preserve and build the community elements and the green spaces and things like that. So it's not all concrete, brick and mortar.
Yeah, I agree. It's so important that we build community, and having a land plan is good. Going back and checking frequently if we're on the right track as a community. Does that land plan still make sense for where we are and where we're going? And the community being involved, us getting involved. I'm like you, being in real estate and being a part of that development. Some of it I agreed with, some of it I didn't. And those thoughts that go through your head, like, how can I be a part of, how can I change this or sway this? Well, we absolutely can, but it definitely takes an effort.
I want to go back to the entrepreneurial thing, because I think there's one of the jewels of this podcast is I end up talking to a lot of people that have the same gene, and there's some common threads between people, but there's also, everybody's in a different place in their business, a different place in life, had different goals or ambitions going into it. So having that unity of the the gene, if you will, but then obviously having diversity around that. If you had to go back in time to, would you say you were 24 when you were in that bar with your glass of Chardonnay?
Yeah.
So if you had to go back in time to that, what would you do sooner? What would you avoid doing? If you could go back to young
Sean,
Wilburn, what would you do, or what would you say to somebody who's in that place of having that, the big dream and have absolutely no idea how to get your arms around it? It's not like the family trade where you've got, your grandpa, your dad was, that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely a fresh start. Some people fall into it that way. If it's truly your own, from scratch kind of thing, it can be daunting. And I think the mistake we make is putting a timeline or a table on it. Ambition is good, focus and goals are essential, but being human and understanding that you're human and the elements of living life on earth are real, let them be, let them happen. A lot of times when we fight the current, we exhaust ourselves to the end. When if we just stop fighting and go with it, sometimes our energy, we can decide when to pulse that hard energy and then decide to lay off. And I think for me, I always joke, and I've been quoted saying this, but if you don't have time, you better have money. And if you don't have money,
well said.
Yeah, if you don't have money, you better have time. And it's so funny the relationship with time and money, and we all are experience that. And so for me, I think putting in the work is really important. And if you are someone who is not afraid of work and you have belief in yourself that I can do this, I'm the one that can build that, or I'm the one that can piece that together. No one knows better than you. Yeah. And don't ask anybody what they think, because they don't know you. Yeah. They don't know your abilities and inside your head. So some things are good. Have someone that can listen but not speak, kind of thing. Because every once in a while you do need an outlet. But I really can't emphasize enough, like, keeping things close to your chest and not really sharing is not from a being a secretive standpoint. It's protecting your goal.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do something crazy big, you know, Elon Musk, you know, talking like I'm gonna build my own spaceship company, or you know, in the face of the Fords and the Chevrolets, I'm gonna build a battery powered vehicle.
Right.
You know, that's crazy talk. That's easy to, you know, to just poo-poo all over that.
Yeah.
And if you hear that enough, we question ourselves daily enough to continue to go back to that trough and get more. Well, then you're just asking to be beat up, you know. So I would say, give yourself time. Know that it's going to take time. Don't put a goal, but don't necessarily put a timetable on it. This took me from the time I decided in my mind I was going to do it to the time we opened. It took me over 10 years. I mean, this was like literally over 10 years of work trying to get this off the ground, and not having money, you know, being creative. You know, real estate's a great way to leverage business. You know, a bank is not going to loan you money to start a business.
Yeah.
It really needs to be your sweat equity and your effort going in. If someone sees that you've put the education in and you are the master, that would be the final thing I would say, is be a master in what you're doing. Like, I went off and I left my career. I made $12 an hour, went from being a financial advisor to making $10, $12 an hour in a vineyard, just to start learning the business. And I worked my way up through the industry, learned everything that I could. So that would be the things, like, you know, put the work in, do the work yourself, go be a master in it, tell no one, and just don't give up. Just take those small bites. You know, everybody's, you know, you hear that cliche, like, how do you eat an elephant? It really is. It's just like those one small little bites at a time, and you'll get there.
I love this as much as anything else in my life and world, because I get to have those themes reinforced and say, okay, if I ever think I'm the only one who thinks like this, I'm really not the only one who thinks like this. So a couple of things that I would infiltrate and echo in what you just said is, one of the things that I have become keenly aware of over really the last couple of years of my life, and something that I've tried to reinforce in, you know, my circles of influence for anybody who asks or will listen, is be aware of the thieves in your life. Meaning, the things you do, you know, where does your time go? Like you said, time or money.
Yeah.
And I literally had this conversation with somebody in the last 2 weeks, because it was like, I wasn't regularly going to something that I used to regularly go to. Not because anybody did anything wrong or whatever, but I started having this, if it does not build margin in my life or make me money, and I don't love money, but I love the margin that money gives you when you have a really busy life and world.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of, like, I just have to start filtering these things. Is this thing I normally attend, does it make me money, or does it build margin in my life? And if it doesn't, I just need to start saying no to some of these things that are good things. They're not, I mean, it's not bad things. That's like, I like going. That's why I always went.
Yeah.
But it was just like, okay, I'm fighting for like an extra 3 hours in my week.
Yeah.
I gotta find it somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and for some of us, it's those, you know, it's a budget thing. So, you know, sit down with your bank statements and your credit card receipts and, like, what are the thieves in my world? Like, and honestly, some of it, it's going to be people. It's like it's hard to say when I'm in the people business, but there's some people that, you know, the conversation takes an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You walk away every single time with absolutely nothing. They're asking you for advice they don't take. Yeah. Okay. At some point, this is not a good use of either of our lives and time.
Right.
So be aware of those thieves. A lot of us in this day and age, it's what we're watching on a screen. That is one of the biggest thieves in our modern culture.
Totally.
The second thing was something that I share. So one of the things I do with agents in our office is go through vision boards, and I I thought this was the biggest stupid idiot craft, practice on the planet, until I started hearing the same thing from people like John Maxwell, Steve Harvey, and Oprah, and Ed Mylett, and all these different people, Elon Musk, that had these vision, and they're in different industries, they're super high achievers, and they all have these same common core things, and this was one of them. And so I started kind of doing this a few years ago, and then it's just like I'm the idiot. I'm the idiot for not doing it. But when I share this with new agents, I say almost exactly what you said. I said everything on here is just hard work plus time.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah,
there's nothing. I'm not trying to figure out how to levitate. It's like nothing is outside the realm of physics. It's just hard work plus time. And the reality is, some of this stuff that's big, crazy dreams, this is like connecting two conversations.
Yeah,
some of this stuff is that simple.
Right.
Some of the things that I want to do and build, and it's like I need way more money than I've ever had in my whole life. I said, but the reality is, I said, if I drew a radius around, wherever I'm standing in this area, I said, there's hundreds of people who could write a check for $1 million and not feel it.
Mm-hmm.
There's hundreds of them. I only need 4 or 5 of them to connect with.
Yeah.
And so you start for your comment about, sharing your dreams with people, 1,000% on board with that, because most people have given up dreaming in life.
Yeah.
And those are not people that are generally going to do anything positive in your world or for your future or for your present, for that matter. Mm-hmm. And what my encouragement would be for anybody who has the ambition, the dream, regardless of what phase of life, quite frankly, is find other people that have, and great if they're in the industry, but sometimes people in the industry aren't so open to share. So, mm-hmm. But it's people outside that industry that can give you those themes of, mm-hmm. Doing your research, like not like for a weekend, for like probably a couple years, like consistently. Like make this something that you actually delve into, so that you become an expert. But then surround yourself with people and have mentorship relationships with people that have gone through the roads that you're going, even if it's in a different industry, because they're the ones who chased and fulfilled their dreams or in the fulfillment of it. But then they're the ones that will be not the dream crushers, but like mm-hmm.
the wind in your sail.
Yeah, they will help you guide the ship right, mm-hmm. not just say you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. You need that. You need those moments of encouragement. Those moments when the sweat, the dirt, the empty pockets, the nothing to show for. To be on your knees and, to lift your head up, and you need that fresh, cool breath. Having that goal, and you mentioned like a vision board or, something like that. It is a plan. Like you can't just go aimlessly into something. You literally have to spend time and like really, truly, someone can give you a path. But it doesn't make sense because they don't know your life. And it takes mind time. It takes time to be inside your head, to sit there literally with a piece of paper. I've got a rolled up poster board right there. Mm-hmm. And doing visual work is critical, because you have to see the where you are, where the goal is, and map out all of the things that are real in between you and that goal, and then slowly figure out all of the little obstacles and how to get around them to get to that goal. And you can't do it unless you really truly have that plan.
It's really what you described is no different than building a house.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Like you gotta know who your contractors are.
Yeah.
You gotta know what your pricing is. You gotta know what your materials are. You need to know
exactly
what the order of sequence is.
Yes.
The check marks you go through.
Order of sequence too. Yeah. Yes, is oftentimes the most complicated to get your head around. But once you get that piece, man, that's kind of the final piece, because then now you can put that foot forward or push off and start rolling. So.
Let's talk about what you guys have as far as events, opportunities for, private things you guys have open to the public on the calendar.
We got big plans here for sure. We want to start out authentic farm winery, growing everything, making everything right here on site. We wanted you to sit in the farm, right? So we didn't want you to be like inside some fancy place. When you come here, you're gonna sit in my shed, which was my shed, the dream box. You're gonna sit in the middle of the vineyard, and you're gonna be in the middle of what we do here. We grow. We're farmers first. Peek into the production room, see where we make the wine, and be engulfed in the wine farming aspect of how do we get this delicious beverage, in our glass. It's so easy to get removed from all of that and forget that. And so this was our attempt of the experience being driven by that, and our team of just incredible, hospitality. When you get here, we do tastings, we do wines by the glass, by the bottle. And then we are, as I mentioned in the beginning, I was strumming a guitar in my garden at like 5 or 6. So to make the dream complete, I had to have live music here.
Yep.
So we do we're as serious about our live music scene as we are about our wine farming. And I could go on for days about our wine farming philosophy and our minimalist approach to winemaking. But we're as geeky about building a really killer music venue for up-and-coming artists, traveling, touring artists to come through. And so Friday nights we have live music starting at 5. Saturdays, live music starting at 5 with food trucks. And our Saturdays are reserved for touring artists. So we have some pretty big names that come through on our Saturday list. So if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, soon our website will be uploaded and the calendar will be there. But for the meantime, at the beginning of each month, we release a music and food truck calendar. And we also do some wine events, wine education events, and those will also be posted on our social. But really, the theme here is, come relaxed and your flip-flops and get over here and just relax. This is, not a pretentious winery. We want you to come and feel comfortable to ask questions and learn about wine. Wine is for some reason, like our parents and grandparents did a fantastic job of making wine the snooty little snoot thing, and it's just laughable, really. But, our goal is to peel that away, that veil of snobbery, and make this just a really cool, laid-back environment to come and meet new people, become a part of the community, and find some new wines that you like, discover some new grape varieties. We do all single vineyard, single grape variety wines. So we want to taste what does that grape taste like from that site. And it's cool. You get to taste some really cool stuff. We have 2 Cab Francs, one from Virginia site that we grow on, and one from North Georgia in the Dahlonega Plateau. We have a Viognier that we grow in Virginia and a Viognier that we grow on the Dahlonega Plateau. So you get to compare, same grape, different site, just cool stuff.
How many different varieties do you serve here?
So typically we're no less than 5 or 6 are on our menu at any given time. We like to be at about 7 or 8. So right now I think we've got about 7 or 8 wines on the list that you can try. we grow nearly everything that we produce, but we've not hit our goal of that yet, which is growing everything 100%. So we seek out some like-minded growers, growing some cool stuff. And so what we don't grow, we source from other growers in Georgia. And then, like I mentioned, we have a long-term lease on an amazing vineyard site in Northern Virginia. We drive up there, co-manage that site, drive the fruit down here and produce it right here in the room next to us.
Wow.
And that's a really, really cool, been a great supplement. While we continue to build our vineyards here in the area, that helps us have some really cool, we want to be 100%, if we can't be 100% Georgia, we at least want to be 100% East Coast.
Yeah.
And that helps us do that until we can hit our goal of being 100% Georgia.
So a question I like to do before we wrap up every episode is called the lightning round, which is a question that has nothing to do with pretty much anything we talk about. So current favorite musical artist, and if you were a prize fighter, what would be the intro song that you would come out to that would get you?
That's awesome.
Two in the musical world, since you talked about a couple musical things.
Dang, man. I am such a music freak, and I'm talking like spectrum from one end to the other. Eric Whitaker is this really cool composer who writes his own choral music, and I'm oftentimes like listening to that. I know that's weird, and then all the way from like Herbie Mann, funky flute jam, just funk, nasty funk, filthy funk, you know. I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, huge, always coming back to Grateful Dead, bluegrass. So let's see here, a simple question I've made complicated. I think right now, if you were to pull up the playlist right now, what I'm jamming to most often it's Parcels. I think probably a really cool band. If you've not heard Parcels, kind of a new group out of Australia, bringing back this old pseudo funk, early Michael Jackson kind of vibe. You know, really good stuff. Parcels. So
I'm writing this down.
Check that out. Yeah, Parcels. Parcels. That's some good music. And I find my mom even kind of tapping, bobbing her head to it. So if like my kids and my mom are jamming, it's kind of like Bob Marley. Everybody loves Bob.
That's right.
So yeah, Parcels is kind of has
everybody goes through a Bob Marley phase in their life.
Oh yeah. You never really. Hopefully, you never move too far from it. And if I'm coming out championship fight, holy moly, I think it's going to be Fish, and it's going to be 2001, I think is the name of the song. Jeez, man, my brain just went blank, and all my Fish fans are going to be like, bro, what's wrong with you, man?
That may be the best lightning round answer ever given. For listeners, I'm staring at the best fly swatter I've ever seen in my life. You have a leather fly swatter.
Nothing.
Because don't play.
That's right.
Don't play.
No.
Not silicone, not plastic. The freaking thing is leather.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Charmin toilet paper in the bathroom.
That's right.
I mean, all the details here,
man.
for sure.
Give us a quick rundown on your hours, normal operation. If somebody wants to come, come by on the fly, if somebody wants to come plan a special event, and if somebody just wants to come by and grab, like, oh my gosh, we got this thing and I forgot to get something to bring, do you have a flagship bottle of wine, or something that is like, I've never tried it before, but
gotta have this,
everybody loves it and I gotta have it?
Yeah, that answer, probably the Lamanto. It's our flagship grape. It's kind of our unique differentiator, and it's kind of what we're trying to do for, Napa has Cabernet Sauvignon, Tuscany has Sangiovese, what do we have in the Southeast? And so we're trying to identify what is our region good for, best known for. Lamanto, we feel like is a really good candidate for answering that question. So I would say the Lamanto. All of our wines are dry, so we don't really do much in the sweet wine category. And we try to make smoking good wines. All of our whites, all of our reds. We want to make super premium Georgia wines. So most people, when they come here, they like all of our wines. I would say Lamonto typically goes, wow, yeah, that one stands out. So, but we're closed Monday, Tuesday. So don't come Monday, Tuesday. But Wednesday, Thursday, we're open from 1 to 7. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12 to 8. And people go, wow, why are you close so early? So we're one of the latest opened wineries in the state, if not the latest opened winery in the state. And it's also because we're out here farming at 6 o'clock in the morning, so by 8,
gotta sleep.
We're dragging, man. And we want to, I always joke, nothing good happens after 8 o'clock. So
I say 9.
9 o'clock.
I tell people that, I'm like, there's no good decisions made after 9
exactly,
9
man.
o'clock.
That's right. So if we can get an hour separated from even that, then we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so come. Reservations are recommended on Saturdays just because we are a small place. We don't want to grow too big. We want to keep it kind of small and intimate. So we can help do that by setting up a reservation on a Saturday, which can be done online. Not required, but recommended. On in our peak season for sure. But yeah, just come. We've got lawn chairs, old retro lawn chairs, and find a spot under our massive oak tree, and come meet some new people, man.
Yeah.
It's a really cool place to just meet your neighbors and just so much negativity in the world. All that's crap. We have far more in common with each other.
Amen.
And you see that here. People from all beliefs, walks of life, philosophies, all smiling, all jamming, and all being reminded that this is life. This is what's real. All that trash, man. There's a propaganda. There's a negative purpose for that, and we choose not to be a part of it. And this is a good community piece where we can all come together and find that. So
we should do that in Congress.
I know.
Y'all take a couple bottles of wine in and figure it out.
That's right. Yeah, totally, man. Jesus.
Get in a better mood and figure it out.
We're going to meet at Cloudland, actually, guys. We're going to have a meeting at Cloudland. Get a lot more done.
So y'all are on Facebook, Instagram, any other platforms?
Yeah, the website's coming up soon. That'll be cloudlandwines.com. It's beautiful. We're excited about it. Vugler Design Group out of Buford, they're the same publisher for Swanee Magazine, do really nice work, and we're excited to be working with them on the site. We should have that up and running by end of August, I would imagine.
Okay.
We'll be rocking, so keep an eye on that. And we'll have our online store on that, and then our wine club will launch here pretty soon as well. That's going to be a really cool wine club. It's not like hey, sign up for 3 bottles a month. It's, hey, be a part of something, activities, events, things of that nature, So wine will certainly be a part of it, but we want it to be more experience driven, and so keep an eye out for that as well.
Awesome. Well, I've taken up enough of your time.
Thank you, brother.
I love this, man. So
thanks
appreciate
for your time.
It. And if you've not come out to this, if you're anywhere in the Buford, Flowery Branch, Hall County, Gwinnett, Jackson, anywhere in that area, you have probably been within a half mile of this location and not even known it.
Yeah.
So make sure you stop by. Your street address one more time.
3796 North Bogan Road. So right on the corner of Bogan and Friendship Road. If you know where the Harley-Davidson place is off of 985 right there, we're pretty much right across the street from that. Yeah. So
awesome. Cool. Thanks, John.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live.